In a hole in the ground, there lived a hobbit. Not a nasty, dirty, wet hole, filled with ends of worms and an oozy smell. Nor yet a dry, bare, sandy hole with nothing in it to sit down or to eat. It was actually a hobbit hole, and that means comfort. It had a perfectly round door like a porthole, painted green with a shiny yellow brass knob in the exact middle. The door opened onto a tube-shaped hall like a tunnel. A very comfortable tunnel without smoke, with panelled walls and floors tiled and carpeted. Provided with polished chairs and lots of pegs for hats and coats. The hobbit was actually very fond of visitors. The tunnel wound on, going fairly but not quite straight into the side of the hill. The hill actually, as all the people for many miles round called it. And many little round doors opened out of it, first on one side and then on the other. No going upstairs for the hobbit. Bedrooms, bathrooms, cellars, pantries, lots of these. Wardrobes, he had whole rooms devoted to clothes. Kitchens, dining rooms, all were on the same floor and indeed on the same passage. The best rooms were all on the left-hand side, for these were the only ones to have windows. Deep-set round windows, looking over his garden and meadows beyond. Sloping down to the river. And the hobbit was a very well-to-do hobbit. And his name was Baggins. Before we move on, I would like you guys to hit a pause and please subscribe to the channel. It's free of cost and you can always change your mind. And yes, what a way to start the booktube journey yet again with an extract from a new genre. A fantasy novel series. And this one is probably the goat of the top tier. And it's me, Prithu Chandala, the co-founder of BookTube, back after a long time. I hope you're up to date with the socials. The links will be up on your screen now and also the video description. And I hope you guys are following us through this. Now let's move on to the second extract from this book. In the meanwhile, the dwarves sat in darkness, and utter silence fell about them. Little that they ate, and little they spoke. They could not count the passing of time, and they scarcely dared to move, for the whisper of their voices echoed and rustled in the tunnel. If they dozed, they woke still to darkness, and to silence going on unbroken. At last, after days and days of waiting, as it seemed, when they were becoming choked and dazed for want of air, they could bear it no longer. They would almost have welcomed sounds from below of the dragon's return. But in the silence, they feared some cunning devilry of his. But they could no longer sit there forever. Thorin spoke. "Let us try the door," he said. "I must feel the wind on my face soon, or die better. I think I would rather be smashed by Smaug in the open than suffocate in here." So several of the dwarves got up and groped back to where the door had been. But they found that the upper end of the tunnel had been shattered and blocked with broken rock. Neither key nor the magic it had once obeyed would ever open the door again. "We are trapped," they groaned, "and this is the end. We shall die here." And we come to an end of this session with a beautiful display of writing in this fantasy book. It's available for a price of 570 rupees on Amazon.in. And yes, you must have guessed the book already. It's The Hobbit, or There and Back Again. And it's a children's fantasy novel by the English author J.R.R.R. Tolkien. It was first published in 1937 to wide critical acclaim, and it was also nominated for the Carnegie Medal and awarded a prize from the New York Herald Tribune for the best juvenile fiction. And the book is so popular and is recognized as a classic in children's literature. So it's actually set within Tolkien's fictional universe and follows the quest of home-loving Bilbo Baggins, the titular hobbit, to win a share of the treasure guarded by a dragon named Smaug. And Bilbo's journey takes him from his light-hearted rural surroundings into the more sinister territory. The story is told in the form of an episodic quest, and most chapters introduce a specific creature or a type of creature into the story. It's a wonderful book, and it's a different kind of a fairy tale, and it's very recommended for young adults and children as well. Also, it still remains a widely recognized novel by adults. The publisher, J.R.R. Tolkien, was encouraged by the book's critical and financial success and therefore requested a sequel. As Tolkien's work progressed onto its successor, The Lord of the Rings, he made retrospective accommodations for it in The Hobbit. And that still remains as one of the best fantasy feature films that has been adapted into a film from a previously written book, and is still one of the best pieces of art this genre of fantasy has ever seen. And don't forget to like, share and subscribe this channel for more book thoughts. And thank you for sticking with me. I know it's been a long time, but yes, we'll be more consistent with uploads. Stay tuned and keep enjoying books. A happy week ahead from my side. Cheers and namaste.